Hey everybody, welcome into another episode of Husker Women's Wednesday, powered by Emeritus. I'm Jessica Coody, and really excited to keep talking Nebraska women's basketball. What a Big Ten tournament. The Huskers just finished up making it to the championship game. Just absolutely incredible basketball being played up in Minneapolis. So we got another women's basketball guest joining us here today, Callin Hake. Thanks for being here.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Well, it was home for you. Did you guys have, I know that was pretty dominated by Iowa fans, but did you have a pretty good showing from your friends and family?
I did, yeah. It was awesome. And two of my best friends, they actually flew in for the championship, just ended over their spring break, so it was pretty sweet.
How cool was it, though, to see Minneapolis hosting the Big Ten tournament and the showing out for women's basketball up there?
Yeah, I think it's incredible. Like, I grew up in Minnesota where you have the professional sports, and so you're not necessarily rallied around like a college town like here in Nebraska. To see that college atmosphere be brought to Minneapolis was just incredible.
What a run you guys went on. Take me back to when you go into the tournament. What was the mindset of this team? You know, Amy Williams said after the championship game, nobody believed we'd be here except for us. We believed wholeheartedly we could. So what was the mindset? What was the approach for you guys going into the tournament?
Yeah, going into the tournament, it was just 1-0. Like, we needed to beat the team that was in front of us, and we couldn't beat ourselves, and we knew that was also a possibility. And so when we found out it was Purdue, you know, we always say, like, boil her off. Let's beat them a third time. It's hard to beat a team 3 times.
Yeah.
And I'm very thankful that we got that game under our belt, because I really think our confidence going into Michigan State helped with how we performed in the second half of Purdue.
You know, and Michigan State, too, that's a team that's been really hot. They've won a lot of big games, and you guys beat them back in December, but it was a completely different matchup. So, you know, how big was that for you guys to get that win? Michigan State's also a team that's ranked higher than you guys in the net and that also had a higher seeding. So I got to imagine there was a lot tied up into that and getting that win for you guys.
Absolutely, because they were our first conference game before Christmas break, which is just wild. And so I think we both teams have made huge jumps. Their press and their defense turns teams over, and I think we allowed them to do that when we played at Michigan State in East Lansing. And we only had 11 turnovers that second game in the Big Ten tournament to 19 assists. And so that's hard to beat a team when you do that. And I was really proud of us.
And then how hard is it to beat a team like Maryland? To beat Maryland?
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. Period is right. And like, again, we beat them on New Year's Eve. And so we played, you know, 2 teams. We played back in December. We've only played them once. And Brenda coaches that team so well. They are so well oiled. I have the utmost respect for them. And again, we came out with the 1-0 mentality, and we were just rolling.
So at what point did you realize, okay, maybe things are starting to click and we're doing something special here?
Yeah, I think after our Purdue game, and then clearly with the upset, you know, I think things started to align in our favor, and I truly believe we were playing the best team basketball at the right time, at the tip of March, and I'd be so scared to play us. Yeah,
absolutely. Okay, so Jaz Shelley starts to go off, and you guys have got a cool relationship, but what was the perspective from the bench, from playing with her when she is just going off the way that she did, really the entire tournament?
Literally, she raised her stock so much that tournament, and she deserves every single ounce of publicity she's getting. She deserves everything. I think when you work with a girl like Jaz each and every day, what she did was not a surprise. And to some outsiders looking in, it may be, but I think she's one of the most underrated, and I don't think she's going to be underrated for much longer, guards in the country. And to see her have the tournament she did with her grandparents in attendance, you know, is everything you want. This is why Jaz came back, and the work she's put in, the adversity she's fought through, she deserves it all.
Caitlin Clark even said she's one of the best players in college basketball. So, I mean, it's pretty cool that mutual respect there. But for Caitlin Clark to even be saying that, you know, certainly that's got to show, you know, how much respect there is to this of what Jaz Shelley can do in this conference.
Absolutely. I think, you know, playing Iowa for a third time, Jaz has made Caitlin Clark's life heck. For 3 games, Jaz is more than just an offensive player. And I think we all point out her 30 balls and the amount of 16 threes she hit through the tournament. But when you see a guard play the way she plays on both ends of the ball, you have to respect that. And I think she's finally getting that recognition she deserves.
Absolutely. When the shots are falling for her like they are, how much does that raise the confidence of this entire basketball team?
Absolutely. It just, I think, shoots it through the roof. We always say when you see 1-3 go in, if it's yours or it's your teammates, it's contagious. And I looked at Jaz and I was like, you're throwing the ball in an ocean. Like, it was awesome. And I think, we almost broke like the 3-point record. I think we had 13, and the record is ours with 14 2 years ago. And so I just, we were feeding the hot hands, either if that was Lex, if that was Nat, if it was Jaz, if it was Logan, and I think that's why our team is so dangerous, is because we're so selfless.
You're a shooter. Describe that feeling when when you're throwing it into the ocean. It is like the best feeling in the world.
It is, yeah. It's incredible. And I think we just went out, we played freely, and we had fun, and we played with joy. And when Nebraska women's basketball does that, we are hard to beat.
Talk about the freshmen and the way that they stepped up. I mean, Natalie Potts, she's just unbelievable, just such a winner. We've heard that competitor wants to win so badly, but some of the big-time plays that she makes in some of the biggest moments, it's just, you kind of forget she's a freshman.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's really, you forget they're freshmen, and just the way they step up in big moments is absolutely incredible, and it's just a testament to their work ethic, but also like the confidence they have in themselves. And hopefully that they just feel that we continue to pour into them. And I just love that this team, we can be so transparent and honest on the court. Like, hey, we need you to guard, we need to stop. And, everyone on this team bucks up and does that. And that's just amazing. That's
incredible. Okay, so you guys make it to the championship game, and you guys went into that game fully expecting to win that basketball game, right?
Absolutely.
So, what was working really well for you guys that enabled you to extend the lead there, especially there in the first half?
Yeah, Iowa's transition offense is incredible, and so, our number one focus when we go in to play them is we got to stop that. And especially in the first half, I don't think we gave them anything. We stopped Hannah Stalke on those rim runs, and we're able to slow the ball, which is huge. And we can guard in the half court, but their transition is hard to stop. And I really think we did that. And then on the offensive end, we just moved the ball. We were able to find who was hot. Jaz was very hot in the first half. And same with Lex. When you have a dominant force in the paint like we do with Lex, like, it opens up so many shots for us. And if we can knock them down. But also, Lex is throwing dimes. And Jaz and I were laughing about that this morning. Like, they were both like flirting with a triple-double a couple times. And, that's incredible to have.
Yeah, how does Jaz feel Alexis come in for the assist record probably now?
I know, that's what we're saying. Lex has been, she draws those double teams, triple teams, or just the whole team sometimes. And her ability to be patient and just throw pinpoint passes to shooters makes our job a lot easier.
It's really easy from an outsider and as a fan of the team to just talk about how good you guys can shoot the basketball and what you guys do on the offensive end. But ultimately, how important is what you guys do on the defensive end to do everything else?
Absolutely. I am so proud of how this team locks into our scout and how we understand personnel and how we understand tendencies. And we may not be the fastest, the most athletic, or the biggest, but if you can understand tendencies on defense, you can go a lot further. And when you have 5 girls that are on the same page, whether that's transition defense, ball screen coverage, you can get those stops. And I think that really was a testament in that Maryland game. We held them so far below their average, especially in that first half. And when our defense goes, our offense goes. And that's the best way to play basketball.
Has that something that's had to develop and grow for you, or has it always been something that you've been good at, enjoyed at, studying part, the part of the game that, the scout part of it?
Yeah, no, I definitely think it was a huge transition going to college basketball. When you look and you have a 6-page scout and paragraphs under everyone, I think this year, I've just realized, the importance of staying hooked up to that scout, but also knowing 1 through 10 or 1 through 12, however many girls they play, because there's nothing worse than having 8th man come in and they hit you with 16 points or something. And so just being locked up, and I think our team has continually done that, and we've just taken strides here in March with that.
So you've taken some huge charges. I mean, there have been times that Amy Williams comes on the show and, she's pointing out not the big threes that you hit, but the things that you do on the defensive end, and in particular, some of the big charges that you draw. Take me through that. Is that something that you've always been good at, or have you had to learn how to do that as well?
Yeah, I've never been the biggest on the court. I've always been small, and I play with a lot of grit, and that's something that I pride myself on. And I'm an energy giver to this team, and I understand the importance and how big of a swing a charge is for our team. And I am more than willing to lay my body on the line. You know, those 5 charges in that tournament, definitely I'm feeling now. But I'd go back and take 5 more if that's what it came down to. And, you know, when you have 4 teammates running up and picking you up, you know, that makes it all worth it.
Oh, I love that. It gives me chills. So, you know, if someone's listening in and wants to maybe include that in part of your game, what goes into that? How do you become someone that's good at doing that and getting set and then taking those charges?
Yeah, I think a lot of it starts, like we always talk about, seeing both, seeing your man and seeing the ball, and then also being in initial positioning. And when Coach's famous line, like when the ball leaves the skin of their fingertips, you need to be where you need to be. And I think this year I've been able to really improve on that. I will say, like, I still have strides to make. But that's helped me, you know, be in the right position to either take the charges. A lot of time it does come on bigs when they're in ball screen coverage, or just to know their tendencies that they want to go right and able to hip drive and like take that charge on the dribble.
Has the game slowed down for you between last year and this year, your freshman and sophomore year?
Absolutely, yeah. And I think just being able to, Jaz and I, you know, we did some point guard class, you know, with the changes this season with Allison going out earlier, and just being able to like really study film with Coach Keller and with Jaz, and to just learn from them has been, I think it's slowed the game down tremendously for me.
Okay, so going back to the loss, I mean, it was clear how emotional Coach Williams was, the players that went to the post game, and I know Matt Cody said it was a pretty emotional locker room. Why was this team so emotional following that loss?
Because we knew we could win. And I think there were so many doubters that we weren't going to be in that championship, as Coach Williams said, but we believed. And when we sat in Carver Hawkeye, when we lost to Iowa, we looked around that locker room knowing next time we would play them, we were going to win. Everyone truly believed. And when you have all these girls that are bought in and a coaching staff that's bought in and truly believes what you can do, that's special. And that's what makes it so emotional.
So then, you know, the thing is your season's not done after that. So how do you guys close the chapter on that? I know, you know, you get a couple days, get a little bit of about a week before you find out even where you go and who you're going to play. So how do you process that now and put it in the rearview mirror, but maybe even build off of what you guys did?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's important that, you know, we process it, but we also learn from it. I think there's so many things to learn and build on, especially build on. And, you know, what's special about we have till Selection Sunday to work on ourselves. We don't know who we're going to play, where we're going to play. And so we get to work on Huskers. And I think that's just special. We can work on our execution, our defense, and just take strides. And whoever comes in our way, they don't.
You know, for you in your role, and it's not just you, because Coach Williams has talked about this several times about how it takes everybody, and everybody has contributed, everybody has played their part and embraced their role. What goes into that for a program? And you talk about the special culture, but how everybody just wants to do their part, and whatever they can do to help this team win, it's got to be pretty special to be a part of. But how do you get to that point for a team?
Yeah, I think we did a lot of learning and growing from last year and just some of the adversity that we went through as a team. And this year, we just want to win, and whatever that takes, if that's me starting, if that's me coming off the bench, if that's me not playing, if that's someone else shining. And I just think that's so special is one game someone might not see the ball go in the bucket or not even see the court, but then you have someone like Ani Stewart who steps up in big moments and big games and does what she does. Like, that's the epitome of a selfless player and just what this team is all about.
I love that. And the bench mob was back
Absolutely.
over the weekend. They got a lot of TV time.
Yes, they did. A lot of love and a lot of hate. I don't know how you hate that, but
I mean, give it up to Allison Widener. You know, she's back and fill in her. I guess that she kind of helped start that her freshman year. But boy, they had some creative celebrations. Is that back to like game planning before the games and stuff?
Absolutely. I think there's so many celebrations that we have up our sleeve for NCAAs. I don't know if you guys are ready for them. But I think that just speaks to our team and how we pour into each other. Like, hitting a three is awesome, but when you see your teammates celebrate your successes even more than you do, that's so special, and you couldn't ask for more.
So I want to go back to the point guard lessons that you had with Jaz, and just what all you learned and what it's like kind of diving into the mind of Jaz Shelley.
Yeah, you know, she is just a wealth of knowledge, and she's so selfless to be able to spend hours with me and sit down and, you know, walk through what she's seeing, and just to learn from her IQ has been such a blessing. And to sit we'd like to, so we'd always get breakfast. I'll kind of just walk you through the day. We'd get breakfast, catch up, and then we'd go with Coach Keller and we'd kind of watch either if that was like Sam Hybe or different point guards that have been in our program, and either if that was Jaz or whoever that was. And then we'd go instantly to the court and try to implement what we were just learning. So either if that was, we spend a lot of time with ball screens and looking at those reads and just being able to handle the ball under pressure, but also understanding, I think the biggest adjustment for me is understanding where all 5 girls need to be when they need to be there and getting them there and being able to direct them. And I think that's something I've never had to do, but it's also just made my IQ and my understanding for the game a lot better.
I was gonna say, how much do you enjoy that then, now being in that role?
Yeah, I think it's been fun. You know, I think it's the versatility has been awesome, but also just understanding where they need to be, when they need to be there, and like that's helped my reads especially. Yeah, it's been fun, and to be able to interchange, I think that's really hard for a team to scout and a team to guard.
You know, that's kind of what Amy Williams does, though. You got a lot of guards that are pretty versatile. How much do you enjoy being a part of something like that? I got to imagine most of the guards, that's what they want coming here. It's what they sign up for. But, you know, that you're not just locked into one thing, that you are expected to do a lot of different things.
Yeah, I think it's so fun. I think it's awesome that anyone can bring the ball up, and I think it allows us to play with pace. And when we play with pace, we are really dangerous because the faster we get off the ball, the faster we can get the ball inside, back outside, and back inside. And I think that's so special. And I think it's also special when you have guards that everyone can shoot it, and so you can put them anywhere on the floor, and if that means me on the point, me off the ball, Kamo on the ball, like it's just incredible what we can do, and I think it's a testament to everyone's IQ as well.
Okay, so I wanted to get to know your backstory a little bit. Take me through, for those that might not know, how your recruiting process, how you landed at Nebraska.
Yeah, so this was definitely not like in my first choice. It was kind of towards the end of my recruiting process that Nebraska came in, and I'm so thankful that they did. This was always, I always say, it's always a town I drove through when I was going to our place in Colorado, and I always just knew of Lincoln because we stopped here on the way. But I truly had no idea how special this place was until I stepped foot on this campus. And the first time I took a visit here, I got in the car and told my parents this is where I'm going to end up. And I just think, you know, you have a coaching staff that cares about you first and foremost as a person, and then a player, and then you have all your extracurriculars and a university that pours into you as a student. And I'm very content with the day that the ball does stop bouncing, and this university really sets you up for success as a student. And in the community, that is like my favorite part of this university, is how you get to pour back and speak to kids and speak to even senior living. We get to go there and just brighten their days, and and that's my why, is seeing the little girl that I once was. That's amazing.
Oh, I love that. You do, and all this team does, spends a lot of time. You go into the locker room, you have your post-game speech, and then you guys come right back out and you sign autographs for really however long you can.
Yeah.
What's that been like, kind of just being able to see all those little girls that wait around, that want to meet you guys, get to know you guys, no matter what the outcome is on the court?
Yeah, I always say they're my why. I was once like that little girl, and remember going to camps and just being so in awe of who those girls were. And so I just hope, that all of us there, we're role models to them, and that they see that I think they see us as a human being more than a basketball player. And I think that's what's so special, is because we were them, and we still are. We're still living out our little kid dreams. Like I always say, like, I'm living an answered prayer. Little Callin would be so proud. And I just hope that roles are reversed one day and I get to be the one cheering them on.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so who was your person? Who was your role model?
Yeah, so that's actually a great question. Mine was Abby Wambach.
Oh.
I was a soccer player.
Wow.
And so I wore number 14, I wore number 8 on the soccer field. But when I got to choose my number for basketball, I wore number 14. That's why I wear it. And so it's kind of interesting. I totally thought soccer was kind of my route to college. And I pivoted and ended up choosing basketball, which I'm so thankful for. And, my message to all kids is play as many sports as you can until you can't. I think there's so many transferable skills that soccer gave me onto the basketball court. I danced for 9 years, so there's so many transferable skills, and you learn so many different lessons from every single sport. So I just encourage the youth to continue to play as many sports as possible.
Great message. So you're saying, going back to the charges, you mastered the flop on the soccer field.
No, I was not a flopper, and I will not be a flopper.
No, I'm kidding. Totally kidding. No, that's so cool. So why did you choose basketball then?
Yeah, so I was kind of actually given an ultimatum. Soccer wanted me to focus just on soccer, and I wasn't quite ready to give up all the other sports that I was in. And so I chose basketball, and I absolutely I loved the physicality. You know, you can get that in soccer, but it wasn't the same. Like, you can hit a body in basketball, and it's fine. You're encouraged to sometimes, you know, on the box outs or whatever. And I just love the pace and aggression. I just feel like I could play so freely on the basketball court, and it's worked out pretty well.
I would say so. Where does that come from, the of the physicality when you are such a little person?
Yeah, definitely. You know, I grew up with an older brother who's in his 5th year playing baseball at North Dakota State, and I think I just realized the competitiveness, and I didn't want to be picked on. And I would hold my ground, and I spent hours and hours either at the ballpark or watching him play basketball or football. And, you know, and so I think I just realized, like, his drive, his competitiveness, and, like, how he wasn't going to back down, and I think that's where I get it from.
Your parents are two of the nicest people I've ever met. They are so great.
They are the best. I mean, I could cry. I love them so much.
They come to almost every game too, right?
Yeah. I think they've missed a total of 3 games.
Wow.
Yeah.
What does that do for you to have that support system that you know that they're going to be there?
Yeah. My text before the Iowa game to my dad, he coached me until I got to high school, and I said, Coach Chad would be so proud, and so would little Callin. And I think that brings so much emotion to me because they have sacrificed so much for my brother and I to be where we are, and we wouldn't be here without them. And to be able to know that they are going to love you the same, win or lose, great performance, bad performance, it means the world, and I couldn't ask for 2 better role models and parents.
Oh, you're going to make me cry.
I know, I'm going to cry.
You know, you mentioned earlier about, you know, your size, and I know I'm not the biggest and whatever I can do on the court. What would be, you know, your message to maybe someone that thinks they're undersized to come play Division I basketball?
Yeah, no fear. You can't have fear on the basketball court, and you can't teach passion, you can't teach joy, and you can't teach love for the game. And I think that's the 3 things that I absolutely pride myself on, and no fear is all my advice I have.
Great advice. How much has your game, just your overall, how you are as an athlete grown just in 2 years? Because I feel like you've made just leaps and bounds progress since you've been here.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, I worked really hard this off season just to get in shape, to get stronger, to fuel my body the proper ways. But I also just think my IQ and really studying in the film room has helped me the most. And I think that's really allowed the game to slow down. And also just understanding, like, reading the ball, either if that's on offensive rebounding, defensive rebounding, but also when you're on defense, you know, being on the move when the ball's in the air has helped me a lot this year.
Okay, so up next, NCAA Tournament bound. There's no doubt about it. Huskers are in. What goes into this week? It's a little bit different for men's and women's basketball because a lot of the men's tournaments are happening this week. Women's, a lot of them are sitting idle, waiting to hear the destination, all that, how that unfolds. So what goes into this week to stay sharp, to build up, to continue that momentum that you guys just got a lot of coming off the Big Ten tournament?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a special week, and we get to build off such a special weekend. And we got to work on us, and I think that's such a great opportunity for us to just focus on us. We have no opponent to scout for. We can sit in the film room and look at what we did great, but also what we need to improve on to make a run in this tournament. And also, we got to support our men. You know, we're going to be cheering them on from Lincoln and hope they can go on a great run in Minneapolis just like we did.
Yeah, we're hoping for back-to-back special weekends. I was going to ask you about that next. How much fun has that been to see what the men have done this season? You guys both have protected the vault like crazy all season long. It's just been really neat to watch from afar just the relationships between the coaching staffs, but then also the teams. They're there, they're front row cheering for you guys. You guys are there cheering for them. It's going to be pretty fun to have 2 basketball teams that are headed to March Madness.
Yeah, it's so special. I think it's incredible to see the buy-in from both the teams. And just, you know, we spend hours at the gyms crossing paths, if that's either in the gym, in the hallway, in the weight room. And just, it's such a special bond, I think, that we have with them. And, you know, to see them have success, it's contagious. And, you know, we're just rooting them on, you know, in Minneapolis. And we can't wait to see where they end up in the big dance, too.
Coach Hoiberg told me last night that before their game, they were using you guys as inspiration to close out their season. So, just the way that you guys feed off of each other, it really is. It's real how you guys kind of get fired up by watching what each other does.
Absolutely. That's really cool. I didn't know that. I just think we want what's best for each other, and to see Nebraska basketball in a whole, both men's and women's, kind of be put on the map again this year has been super special, and we're starting to get the respect we need and we deserve.
Big Ten tournament and apply to March Madness and maybe do something special again here the next tournament that you play in.
Absolutely. I think just the defense we were able to play up in Minneapolis was incredible, and I think that just made our offense go. When we can work and get turnovers on defense and play with pace, we're really dangerous. And just also our ability to get the ball into Lex, we always call it the green box, just right under the rim, and her ability to get it back out and us to get it back in, and her to just be able to throw dimes, that's incredible. We already said it. She was flirting with the triple-double, going for Jaz's assist record, That's just really special. And just the team basketball we were able to play in Minneapolis, that's really hard to guard and defend, but it's really fun to play with.
Oh, I love it. Great stuff, Callin Hake. I could sit here and ask you a million more questions, but appreciate your perspective, and it's been fun to watch you guys, and let's keep it rolling.
Yes, thank you for having me.
And that is Callin Hake with Nebraska women's basketball as a team coming off an incredible run in the Big Ten tournament and head towards the postseason and NCAA tournament berth. All right, thanks for listening and watching this episode of Husker Women's Wednesday. Emeritus is proud to power Husker Women's Wednesday and all of Husker women's sports. Thanks for watching, and make sure you subscribe and like wherever you listen to never miss an episode right here on the Huskers Radio Network podcast.